Welcome to Blog of the Hut. In this post again I'll be discussing Mass Effect 3. When last we looked at it, Shepard had just completed his first major mission on Palaven, rescuing Primarch Victus from the battle there and returning to the Citadel to check on Ashley Williams and Thane, and also pick up some more recruits for the galactic war against the Reapers. So after rescuing the Primarch is keen to have the Krogan on board, but obviously this causes a lot of political tension because the Solarians and the Turians both arranged to inflict the genophage on the Krogan population, which is slowly causing them to decline and die out. But nonetheless, a summit has been called on Surkesh, the Solarian homeworld, but before that Shepard decides to check in on some more urgent missions before calling the war summit. So the first mission Shepard took was to EdenPrime. Now this mission is actually part of the From Ashes DLC. If you bought the limited edition of the game, you got that free, otherwise it costs the standard 800 Microsoft points to buy, but I'd say it's pretty well worth it. So Cerberus have found some Prothean artifact, and when Shepard arrives, actually they've launched a full-on invasion of the planet to secure this artifact. So Shepard and Liara and the new ED bot investigate and find the planet pretty well deserted where they find it, which is pretty strange actually considering they land quite near the artifact. But most of the soldiers have been killed and there's very little left. So they find this artifact and they bring it up to the surface, and actually they find it's actually a living Prothean still contained in a stasis pod. So they need to find out how to activate it. So Shepard and his squad battle through the EdenPrime dwelling. I should say also, if you remember, EdenPrime is where it all began, where Shepard's first mission was, where he found out that Saren was a traitor and activated the Prothean beacon, and obviously began his journey to find out about the Reapers. So Shepard journeys through the EdenPrime campsite, I suppose. That's been decimated by Cerberus, battling a number of Cerberus enemies. There are a few new types. There are Cerberus engineers. They're quite weak compared to the normal soldiers, but they do have shielding and they're able to set up turrets which are pretty powerful and pretty nasty. There are also Cerberus Guardians, again standard troopers, but they're equipped with powerful riot shields which are pretty bulletproof unless you manage to use biotics to rip them off, and then again they're pretty weak once you rob them of their extra power. And through that Shepard finds the research that Cerberus have been digging up and manages to uncover the secrets to unlocking the stasis pod, and also with Prothean tech manages to uncover some of the memories of the Prothean hidden inside.
How many have we lost?
Reaper forces have destroyed approximately 300,000 life pods.
Third of our people.
Alert! Broadside bulkhead cannot be sealed. Hostiles detected.
Then all forces to the north.
I never thought our empire would fall.
It won't. We will sleep here until the Reapers return to dock space. Then we will rise, 1,000,000 strong.
For the empire.
For the Empire. Get to your stasis pod. Victory. Broadcast the stasis readiness signal to all life pods.
And the refugees who have yet to reach the bunker.
Their sacrifice will be honored in the coming Empire.
Pretty exciting stuff there, and I think well worth the money I paid for downloading the extra pack. So yeah, so those are the memories of a Prothean, a real living Prothean. You can see they're battling the collectors, who are genetically mutated versions of the Protheans that the Reapers turned against them, much like the Husks are mutated versions of humans, I suppose. And seeing the final days really of the Prothean Empire as they hold out. So yeah, so Shepard and Co now have the ability to open the stasis casket, so they return to it, only to find that Cerberus have drawn a lot more troops in, a lot more of their forces, including an Atlas. An Atlas is a pretty huge mech, much like the large mechs from Mass Effect 2, only this time it has a human pilot, making it much more adaptable and powerful. But eventually they managed to take out all the local Cerberus forces. Also along the way there are various terminals where they gather Cerberus intel and feed it to the EdenPrime resistance movement, and gathering all the intel helps them stop the Cerberus attacks, and eventually sometime after the mission they manage to drive Cerberus off the planet and again become one of the war assets supporting Shepard. So anyway, so yeah, Shepard defeats all the Cerberus forces, and then they're able to open the casket to reveal Javik, who is well, the last living Prothean. And a few more of his memories reveal that while they were trying to save as many Protheans as they could in stasis chambers, unfortunately due to an indoctrinated agent betraying their location, the Collectors and the Reapers managed to find it, and so the only one in the end that they could save was him. So anyway, they pick off the rest of the Cerberus forces and return to the Normandy. It's quite amusing having Javik on board. He's got a bit of disdain for what he regards as the primitive species. He remembers humans and Asari as being very underdeveloped, and in fact it was part of the Prothean strategy not to help them develop so that the Reapers would leave them alone. But he's not exactly what everyone hoped for. He was born well into the war with the Reapers, so all he knows is war and fighting, so he's not much help with the Crucible project or with Liara's wanting to know more about Prothean history. But nonetheless, he's a very powerful ally, and he's quite amusing with his anecdotes, particularly about Solarians, when they comment that Solarians are part of the war effort. He simply replies, "They used to eat flies." So it's quite amusing having his perspective, and yeah, he's a pretty handy fighter. He also brings along a new type of weapon, a particle rifle, which is superior to standard bullet-operated weapons, and handy that it doesn't rely on thermal clips, so it recharges by itself, so it's quite a handy weapon to have along. So the next mission Shepard took on was to go to the Grissom Academy. The Grissom Academy is a space-based academy for students, for highly advanced, highly skilled students, and also houses a biotic training centre. They picked up a distress call and found something odd in the distress call, much to give them an indication that Cerberus was there. And as they arrive at the station, they get a hail from Kaylee Sanders. Sanders is a former acquaintance of Anderson. If you've read the novels, you'll know a bit about Kaylee, who's working on the station. And yeah, they run into Cerberus company as they get there.
Come and get me!
It's nice to see Joker in action again, drawing away the Cerberus fighters and the cruiser that are assaulting the station. So yeah, so as Shepard lands, Cerberus are in action, kidnapping the talented biotic students for their own uses. They speak briefly to Kaylee to get a view on the situation, and then go and rescue the students and their mentor. And all the while, Shepard's assaulted by messages of Cerberus trying to tell them that their families on Earth are safe, and if the students go with Cerberus, they'll rescue them, and etc. etc. So Shepard didn't take Javik with him on this mission. I find one of the fun parts of Mass Effect is trying to think who are the best squad mates for a mission, and I always try and think it through logically. So Shepard didn't take Javik because he didn't want to freak out these kids who are already being attacked by Cerberus, and for the same reason he didn't bring along the AI of EDI. So it was Liara and what's his face, James, who came along for the ride on this one. But yes, so they battle through against a few Cerberus troops and help some students who are trying to put barriers up and defend themselves against the attack, and eventually find the student's teacher, who is in fact Jack, which is quite surprising but also really nice. Jack's looking a bit more human this time. She's grown her hair and put on a bit more clothing, and it was nice to see her a bit more happy. I was never too fond of Jack in Mass Effect 2 really. I didn't really like the fact that she was constantly swearing and that you couldn't speak to her for 5 minutes without her deciding you were in love with her. But it was nice to see her a bit more settled and happy in this one, and I had kind of always imagined in my head that one day she might be able to pass on her gifts to other students. So it was nice to see her as a teacher for these biotic kids and helping to train them to be ready to help in the war effort. So with Jack and his team, Shepard managed to defeat the rest of the Cerberus forces and steal a Cerberus shuttle, which gives them time to escape back to the Normandy, getting past all the Cerberus forces. And it's nice, really nice to see Jack interacting with her students. So they provide sort of support, attacking with biotic powers as Shepard and his squad make their way through the base. There's also a fun opportunity to steal an Atlas and use it as a weapon against Cerberus troops. But yeah, really good fun to see Jack again, and to see her in her new role teaching these students. And of course, after rescuing them from Cerberus, they all become new war assets. Well, that's it for now, but there'll be plenty more Mass Effect coming your way pretty soon. Thank you for listening.